Three men are shipwrecked on an island infested with cannibals. They were brought to the cannibal king, who tells the three men that they must complete a series of tests so that they will not be eaten. The first task, he tells them to bring back 10 pieces of the same fruit. So they go out to scavenger the island. The first man brings back apples and is told for the next task, he must shove all 10 up his butt without a noise or emotion. He gets 1.5 up there before he screams and gets killed and eaten. The second man comes back with 10 berries and told of the same task. As he is about to get the 10th and final berry in, he bursts out in laughter and gets killed and eaten. Up in heaven, the first man meets the second man and asked why he laughed since he was so close to freedom. He replied, "I couldn't help it, I saw the other guy walk in with pineapples."
Sherlock Holmes and Dr. Watson were going camping. They pitched their tent under the stars and went to sleep. Sometime in the middle of the night, Holmes woke Watson up and said, "Watson, look up at the sky and tell me what you see." Watson replied, "I see millions and millions of stars." Holmes said, "And what do you deduce from that?" Watson replied, "Well, if there are millions of stars, and if even a few of those have planets, it's quite likely there are some planets like Earth out there. And if there are a few planets like Earth out there, there might also be life." And Holmes said, "Watson, you idiot, it means that somebody stole our tent."
A statue of a man and a statue of a woman stood looking at each other for hundreds of years out in a park. One day, a wizard, feeling sorry for the statues, brought them to life for 30 minutes. Right away, the two of them ran into some nearby bushes, and you could hear all kinds of strange sounds and moans from there. After a while, they came back out, giggling. The wizard told them, "You have another 15 minutes left, if you want to have another go." The statues looked at each other, and the male statue answered, "Fine, but this time you hold the pigeon and I'll shit on it."
The doc told a guy that masturbating before sex often helped men last longer during the act. The man decided, "What the hell, I'll try it." He spent the rest of the day thinking about where to do it. He couldn't do it in his office. He thought about the restroom, but that was too open. He considered an alley, but figured that was too unsafe. Finally, he realized his solution. On his way home, he pulled his truck over on the side of the highway. He got out and crawled underneath as if he was examining the truck. Satisfied with the privacy, he undid his pants and started to walk. He closed his eyes and thought of his lover. As he grew closer to the big finish, he felt a quick tug at the bottom of his pants. He heard, "This is the police." "What's going on down there?" The man replied, "I'm checking out the rear axle. It's busted." The police said, "Well, you might as well check your brakes too while you're down there because your truck rolled down the hill 5 minutes ago." A man and a woman have just finished celebrating their 20th wedding anniversary and are heading up to bed for some 20th anniversary maritals. On the way up the stairs, the woman glances at the pictures of their children and thinks about how much she loves her life. Once they get to the bedroom, the man turns off the light and they get down to business. Mid-coitus, the woman realizes that in the 20 years she's been married and before they dated, she has never seen her husband fully naked. Perplexed by her realization, she uses a lull in the plowing to turn the lamp on. Click! The man is wearing a strap-on dildo. The two freeze, sharing a strangely intimate moment of shock and confusion. Finally, the man clears his throat. "I'll explain the toy if you explain our kids." Click!
A kindergarten teacher is trying to explain to her class the definition of the word definitely. To make sure the students have a good understanding of the word, she asks them to use it in a sentence. The first student raised his hand and said, "The sky is definitely blue." The teacher said, "Well, that isn't entirely correct, because sometimes it's gray and cloudy." Another student says, "Grass is definitely green." The teacher again replies, "If grass doesn't get enough water, it turns brown, so that isn't really correct either." Finally, Billy raises his hand and asks the teacher, "Do farts have lumps?" The teacher looked at him and said, "No, but that isn't really a question you want to ask in class discussion." So Billy replies, "Then I definitely just shit my pants."